Hey everyone, how you doing? Here for the second installment of our Project SuperVantage series. We've been hard at work on a bunch of other things, but we're ready to get back into this car. The boys have been busy here in the shop, tidying up a couple things, getting a few cars put away, so we got a little bit more space. We got a hoist free here, and we're just taking care of a few track projects. So wanted to chat to you about a couple of the things that we're contemplating on this car. We want to make it into a really interesting project car. We didn't want to just throw it all back together and get it working and take it out on the road. We wanted to make it into something a little bit special. So we got a few little repairs to do. We got to replace these tail lights, and we got to get the engine up and running. Mike started to lay out a bunch of the parts all ready to go. Bench. And at the moment, the trunk's just full of stuff. So we get a few extra bits and pieces here, and we'll tidy that up. But what we want to do with this is turn it into kind of a club sporty type of build. So we're going to be looking at installing our half cage in the car, probably replacing and upgrading the seats. So these are most likely going to come out. We're going to put a half cage in here, which will allow us to run 4 or a 6-point harness. At the moment, part of the dash is taken out, so contemplating some carbon parts here. We've been talking to Michael at ECPS Group over in Poland about picking up some of their parts. So maybe looking at doing the carbon waterfall and gear shifts around here. I think we'll probably leave the kick plates here just because they get scuffed up pretty easily, and going to carbon looks really, really nice at first, but before long they get pretty messed up. You can also do these door pulls. Probably going to do some carbon mirror caps. Those, as many of you know, on these early cars are the same as the P2 Volvos. Carbon side strakes here is also another option. And if we did all that stuff external in carbon, probably look at taking out the window trim and blacking that out just to get a good match. Still not sure what we're going to do about wheels. But the big decisions that we have to make are, what do we want to do with the major external parts? So this being this is an 08 Vantage. The 06 through 2010 and a half model years have the original styling that the Vantage came with when it was released in 2006. So this is what the rear bumper looks like. It's painted and doesn't have any visual carbon at the back. Fairly small rear diffuser. If we go over here and look at this 2015 car, this is the facelift that they put onto these at the rear. So you can see the carbon rear diffuser extends further up in the bumper. A little bit of a different visual look there. Some people prefer this. Some people prefer the original design. Likewise, at the front of the car, there's also the facelift bumper. So you can see here they've incorporated a larger front splitter. The first gen didn't have a splitter at all. There are some options to add a carbon splitter to that first gen bumper, but still retain the bumper which comes further down. So this is another interesting option that we have. Do we add the facelift parts to the new car, or sorry, the old car? Do we update the look of it and basically make it like a clone of the newer cars? Do we keep the original styling? What are those options? So we don't have to go whole hog. We could go with the N420 style carbon rear diffuser on this car and also go with the facelifted front. Another option that we have, it's a little tricky to see with the hatch open, but the profile of the trunk lid on the original cars is a little bit flatter. You can see here it's fairly flat across the top. Whereas if you look at the facelifted cars, they have this really cool little cam tail, duck tail, with a little bit of a higher profile. If you look at the distance between the third brake light and the top here, you see there's a little bit more. And if we go back to the first gen, it's a lot closer in there. So you can add a carbon press-on, stick-on spoiler camtail to this trunk lid. That's another option that we have. Everybody's got some personal preferences. We'd love to hear what you guys think we should do with this. For me, I'm kind of leaning towards going with the facelifted front end, the new rear hatch, but sticking with the OEM rear bumper and putting the N420 carbon diffuser on there. Maybe a little mix and match, maybe confuse a few people when they first see it, or we could go whole hog and do the whole thing. The last question is, what should we do with the hood? So the V12 Vantage has some louvers built into the hood. They are functional. They do offer some heat extraction. We could put a V12 Vantage hood on this car. A lot of people have done that to the V8. Some people think that that's not so cool because you're implying that your car is a V12 when in fact it isn't. Same could be said of the facelift parts. There are also some options that ECPS makes to put a carbon insert into the V8 hood. For me, I think that's kind of maybe where we're leaning. Leave the V8 hood on here, jazz it up a little bit so we have some matching carbon accents around it. So a few options that we have there for the exterior and the interior. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment, send us an email even if you want, but let us know what you think we should do with the car. And if you have any other suggestions, other things you think we should incorporate into the build, comment, like, share it. We want to hear what people think we should do with this car, aside from what I like. So drop us a line.